Yes, we're rolling. Do it. Rolling? All right, I'll call the meeting to order, January 22nd, 2025. Sarah, can you do a roll call?
Sure. Lloyd Grachek,
Here.
Laura Greenlee-Karp,
Here.
Dave Andren,
Here.
Ben Hansen,
Here.
Ingrid Koller,
Here.
Rachel Lucas,
Here.
and Sarah Zahradka is gone today, and Cassidy Schweer is here.
Seeing we got a quorum, need a motion to adopt the agenda, please.
I make a motion.
Dave makes a motion.
I'll second that.
Ingrid seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Approval of the minutes of November 20th.
I make a motion.
Dave makes a motion, second.
I'll second.
Ben seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Anybody from the community?
Nope.
I'd like to welcome Rachel Lucas to our Park and Rec. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, geez.
Doesn't have to be long, just short and sweet.
So I've lived in North St. Paul for almost 3 years now. The sense of community I've gotten just from my immediate neighbors, from the city events, activities, I found it really impactful, and I wanted to participate and make a change. Personally, I like reading and gardening, and I have a cat and dog, and I like hiking, and yeah,
Thank you.
that's me.
Got any questions along the way, just holler.
Okay,
We'll walk you right through it.
okay, sounds good.
All right, so we're staying in order?
Yes.
Election of officers, need a motion.
I make a motion to leave the officers that we have in place as it is.
I actually would really like the opportunity to be the chair and experience what that role is like and allow somebody else the opportunity to be the vice chair.
Okay, you got a motion. Okay, so hold on, do we have a second on Dave's motion? Okay,
I was going to second because.
You're gonna second it?
No, I was, because for many years, we've just kind of kept it the same.
Yep.
But after hearing Laura say that, I'd like to explore
Okay,
more.
so we don't have a second on Dave's motion, correct?
Correct.
Okay, do we have another motion? That would be, go ahead.
I don't think I can motion myself into,
Okay,
yeah, I would, so,
Ingrid? She can't officially make the motion.
hold on, but we can allow people to discuss.
You can discuss.
If that's something that you all would be interested in exploring.
Yeah.
Hi, yes, oh, hold on.
So while we're here, can you define what the roles are of chair and vice chair? Because you're Laura,
I'm
correct?
Laura,
Laura,
yep.
you said you're interested in being chair and someone else vice chair.
Yes, so I'm currently chair and Lloyd is currently, or I'm sorry, I'm currently vice chair and Lloyd is currently chair.
Okay.
I've been in this role for 3 years. And you've been in your role for,
Ever,
for a long time.
but that's okay.
Yeah, and so the roles really are the chair is in charge of facilitating the meeting and holding us to Robert's rules and making sure we're following the protocol and approving the agenda, kind of just like also presenting to other commissions and councils. Vice chair supports that work as well.
Okay.
And runs the meeting in the absence of the.
Yeah, yep.
Lloyd, do you have any feedback?
I'm fine with it. I've always been ready to step down and see what it's like to be over there.
Are you interested in vice chair?
No, I think I'm gonna just take a break then.
So then, of the three of you, is one of you interested in vice chair?
I actually was going to nominate Sarah, who isn't here tonight,
Oh,
Be great.
to be the vice chair.
okay.
Not that Sarah, a different Sarah.
Yeah, is
Oh, yes, yes,
interested in there?
Not
yes.
Sarah.
The missing Sarah is the missing
Yes.
chair, right? Okay,
Yep.
okay.
And she's been on the commission for longer than I have.
Is she
Yeah.
okay with it?
I,
Or do we wait wait till, do we wait till February?
Or could we nominate now and then check in with her in February and approve then?
Protocol.
Not keeping it easy.
I mean, protocol is that you elect officers here tonight.
Okay.
You know, if Sarah reached out to anybody or to staff to say, if I was nominated, I'd love, you know, make her intentions known or in writing or in phone or whatever, then you could use that or you could, you know, point to that information. But in her absence, if she hasn't spoken to our Sarah's, staff Sarah, then you would move forward with whatever motion that the body deems ready.
Okay, is anybody else interested?
Well, I
in being-
would, if Laura wanted to be chair, I would nominate Ben to be vice chair myself.
I'm like the newest one here. And just, I don't,
Not the newest one.
Ben?
I don't know if I'd be ready for that.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'd leave my nomination go
Okay.
as I presented it.
Did Sarah say she would be interested?
And if we,
You don't know?
I have a text out to her. I don't know if that would be valid or not.
It would, if she got back to you.
and if we don't fill it, we'd have to do it in February, right?
You can nominate somebody who's not here. You can vote them in.
Okay.
And then if she comes back and says, I don't want this, at your next meeting, you can change it.
Oh, yeah, we could do that.
Okay.
I'll make a motion
Two.
to have Laura be our chair and Sarah Zahradka be our vice chair.
Is there a second?
Yeah. Do I have to say second?
Yes.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, raise your,
I feel that with your experience as chair, I think with the understanding of the other commissions and stuff, you would be like I said, my first motion was for to leave the officers in place that there are now. So with that said, I don't want to just put it out for a vote, but I would prefer to see the parties stay as they are.
I still got to vote on the motion.
Yep, you have a motion and second on the
Have
table.
a motion and any other discussion? Okay, let's use,
We're allowed to have more discussion, or we have to?
oh, yeah,
no,
you don't
More
have to, if
discussion, yep.
you want.
Just clarifying.
No. That being said, I'll look for hands raised. All in favor of the motion. Sarah, would you read it, please?
But
Well, that's okay.
the motion is for Laura Greenlee-Karp to be chair and Sarah Zahradka to be vice chair for 2025.
And that was from Ingrid.
And there's a second, too.
Yeah, for
Oh,
Rachel.
and second from Rachel.
Rachel seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise their hand. Aye. All opposed?
4-2.
2.
Two.
Okay.
Motion passes.
Yep, motion passed. Okay, next. Events for 2025. Ava?
Hello, everyone.
Oh,
I'm going to wait. There we go. Okay. So I am the Communications and Community Outreach Coordinator, which means that I have the joy and privilege to run all city events. And so as both communications and events, I'm here to kind of set expectations for 2025 and kind of come to you with a ask for more help. So before we get to that, slide please, I would like to hear a little bit about you, specifically why you are on this commission and why you are passionate about the parks. So maybe we could start with Ben.
Sure. So I joined last December, not the one that just passed, but the one before. I've been living in North St. Paul for almost 5 years, and I just think we have great parks. Love to spend time there with my family. I like to be outside all 4 seasons, and we're really privileged to have the parks that we have. I live really close to Casey Lake Park, so I spend my most time there, but love to visit the other ones too. So want to do whatever I can to help improve and get the community engaged in what's happening in our parks.
Amazing. Thank you.
I have lived here for 8 years, and I am not only passionate about the parks, but I love working with the community and finding opportunities to connect with them. So that is what I bring.
Amazing.
I've been here, let's see, 89, 30-some years, 35 years with North St. Paul. I've been on the Park Commission for about 15 years. Lots of things have changed in the positive direction since we first started with no agendas. And now we're moving forward in a very positive direction.
Amazing.
I'm Dave Andren. I've been living in North St. Paul for pretty close to 20 years now. I had ties that went to this city way back in 70 or in 80 when we pulled the tracks out of North St. Paul. They used to go along 36. I was one of the people that did that. So I've had ties with North St. Paul since then. This is my second time around on the Parks Commission. I served back in the day, about 7 years ago, is when I left, and I served for almost 8 years prior to that. Had several people in the community ask me if I would try to get back on the Park Commission, and here I am. So.
I'm Ingrid Koller. I've been a resident for 28 years, I want to say. My husband was a lifelong resident. So anyway, I became interested in, I live near Silver Lake, a little bit off the park, and I became activated when the beach, we had a public a guarded beach for many years, and my kids learned how to swim there, and, well, several generations learned how to swim there. And there was a budget cut, and suddenly there were going to be no lifeguards down at the beach, which just really made several of us kind of, alarmed. And we were worried about that, and just kind of started this groundswell of support for, what can we do? How can we go to City Hall and complain about this, but also try to help out? And so the Silver Lake Splash was born. So I became one of the organizers of an event that for 10 or 11 years raised funds down at Silver Lake for lifeguards. And that's not how we do things anymore. And the Splash went away during COVID. 2020 was 2019 was probably the last year of the Splash, but it was a huge event and a big undertaking. Yeah, that's how. Oh, and then because I became so active, Terry Furlong said, "Well, you should be on the Park and Rec," and so that was 2000, I don't even remember. I've been on the Park and Rec a long time. That was probably around 2010, 11. Yeah, and the event went for 10 years. Yeah, that sounds about right. 10, 11 years. And so here I am. So that's how I became interested in the first place.
Amazing. Thank you.
So I've lived in North St. Paul for a few years now, and this is the first place where I've actually felt a sense of community, both immediately with my neighbors, but then wider spread as a larger community, as the city. I found a lot of that was through the Parks and Rec events. I felt like that was a great way to meet local neighbor people, and I found that really encouraging. I wanted to help build the community, both for myself and just for the city. And then I think the parks are really beautiful. I think it's a great thing to have people getting out in nature more. I think it's beneficial for people. So that's why I'm here.
Amazing. Thank you all. I think that this is actually, hearing each of where you're coming from is a really good branch of, parks and also events. I'm hoping one of your goals is to get people more into the parks, enjoying nature outside, and events are a great way to do that. So, slide please. So I'm here to ask for your help in running events smoothly and effectively. So I'm juggling 2 different roles during events. I'm both, coordinating the event, but also taking photos and videos to promote North St. Paul and what we're doing. And so because I have to be in multiple places at once, I need a dedicated team of people behind me who know what's happening, what needs to get done, what's going where, who have my back if something goes wrong, or just to make sure that everything's okay. And so I'm asking for your support and help to execute these events. And because these events align with your mission and vision really well, I hope that it's not too big of an ask. And so, therefore, strengthen our community by bringing really awesome events to them. So, slide please. So my ask is that I'd love you to be proactive with working with me on generating new event ideas and plans and ways that you can get involved. That means engaging in meetings and responding to emails, reaching out with new ideas if you have them. I would like you to be aware, engaged, and involved in planning before the event, which will basically just be communicating with me. Signing up for a task when I ask, and attending pre-meetings, which will be communicated. But most of all, having your physical presence there on the day, even if it's just background help, would be super appreciated. So volunteering for tasks at the event. And then a follow-up is just providing feedback, what you think went well, what you think can be improved, so that we can always be making these events more streamlined and just better for everyone. So slide. So my overall expectations are to respond to my asks and emails, so know in advance what you're doing. Being physically present at a minimum of 2 events per year, and improving the events by giving feedback. So because our events are pretty spread out, I've given Sarah, thank you, the event schedule. It is currently changing as I'm booking vendors and that sort of thing, but this is the rough event schedule for 2025. So you have it in advance to say, okay, when can I be here? Maybe what are my 2 parks events? You'll see on the side where it says parks, and kind of plan out where you can help. So you can do the slide. So this is just the kind of brief overview look right now, which some of this has changed since I made this slide deck. But we have, for example, Fire and Ice coming up next week. And so it's going to be a really great event where we're going to be serving free hot chocolate in Casey Lake while people are outside skating. And basically, I'll need one person to kind of cover the drink station, probably for 1 hour. The event runs from 5 to 7, 5 to 9, sorry. And so maybe someone at 6 o'clock could come and just watch the drink station while I run around and do some photos. So that's a good example of, the kind of asks that I'm looking for. If you have questions, I can take them at the end of this presentation. Yes. So if you could do the next slide, please. So here's another example. So I'm not asking you guys to take back, planning and executing and running these events. I'm comfortable with this role, but I can't handle everything like I did last year. So an example of this is that last year we ran a Kung Fu Panda 4 movie night at Housie Park, which went really well. And except that I was the only person running the event. I was the only staff person, and there was no commissioner to back me up. And so I was tasked with watching the bathrooms in Housie Park and saw that there was a child holding the plug that everything was powered by. The movie, the projector, the speakers, everything. And he's holding the plug. And so I ran to go and make sure that he didn't unplug. And while I was physically guarding the plug, a community member went into the Housie Park and started removing chairs from the building. So after dealing with that situation, went and talked to a very angry resident, and so it would have been really helpful to have backup in that situation, especially being, alone at night. So basically, my ask is that I'd always have one backup person at least. Some of these events, in this lineup, will have other city staff around and available. Obviously, not all these events are up to you. A lot of that is arts and culture and city staff and different people. But for the Parks Department events, I'm asking that you be present. So, my final thoughts, awesome, is that I'm really excited to work with you guys. I really love city events, and I think we can make something really awesome happen. Basically, my next steps for you is that I will be sending out a Google form tomorrow. Basically, just getting kind of your first thoughts, look at the event schedule, when you think you'll be able to volunteer. And so I have a general idea of who to reach out to at that time. But I will be communicating throughout the year, basically saying, hey, we have an event coming up in month, 2 months, this is the exact job requirement, this is what I'm expecting of you. And also, I would love if somebody could come and help me on February 7th, which is a Friday, for 1 hour. So I'm more than happy to take questions or comments, concerns, so we can work together as a team on this.
What was the time frame on the February 7th?
I'm hoping for 1 hour.
Oh, just 1 hour within that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Amazing. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll follow up with tomorrow with an email.
And it's at Casey, not Housey, I noticed.
Yes, because we had to take out we can no longer do an ice rink at Housey because they removed the baseball time and because of ADA compliance.
So Rachel, you're doing the whole 5 to 9 or just?
Not the full thing. I can't do the full thing, but I could do
1
like
hour.
a 2 hour,
Perfect.
1 hour.
I can be at that one too as just another set of hands.
Awesome. Yeah.
I agree. It's very important we have at least 2 people
For sure.
at any event.
Yeah.
For safety.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Do you have the Salvation Army doing the hot chocolate for that event?
No, the city is running that. I didn't know that Salvation Army did that in the past.
It's all good. Yeah, so that.
Teach you as you go.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we used to run that at Housey.
Yeah.
As like a little neighborhood thing. The fire department would manage fires. Salvation Army would do hot chocolate. And then we would have people inside monitoring the bathrooms and then just kind of like floating around. And we also had, for a couple of years, like a s'more station, so people could roast there as well. That's just a little background knowledge on that event.
Yeah. No, that's great. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll chat with Sarah about if we're going to pivot or if we're going to stay with what we have.
I don't think you need to pivot. That was me just saying that's a resource, and usually they're really excited, like really on top of it and want to be a part of it.
Okay.
And it's an extra task that could be off of your plate, so that you could have more people floating.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other questions, concerns?
No, right now, I'll sign up the park cleanup.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll make a note
It's
of that.
something, I noticed last year we weren't doing any work. We used to do a park cleanup, and there's not much to it. We would just kind of it used to be all the liaisons for the parks would be at their parks, handing out trash bags and stuff like that. And then once we were all done, Monday morning, Public Works would just come by and pick up the trash bags that we had. So, but yeah, I'll help out in whatever way you need for Earth Day.
Are you planning on a Tuesday? May I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
We used to do it on the
On the
Saturday before.
Closest to, and you may want to get a hold of the track coach at North.
Okay.
Because in the past, they have done cleanup as a requirement to be on the track team, and he has held food and so forth. Now, they've got a new coach now because the other one retired, but you might want to reach out and see if they have any plans to do that, because that would be some more resources for you.
That's a great suggestion.
I have
Yep.
another bit of feedback, too. As the liaison to Silver Lake, there is a very active lake association, and it's very important to coordinate our cleanup with their cleanup, because
Oh,
sometimes that
okay.
is not the same date.
Okay.
And then I find myself going, wait, the cleanup isn't until,
Yeah.
I'm thinking parks, and so there is a little wrinkle to work out there, just to maybe check in. They might even have it already set.
Yeah.
But I would love to see those two dates being the same.
Yeah.
Not conflicting somehow, or, because then I end up being torn,
We gotta do 20.
which one do I show up to, or both, or, I often can't go to both, so.
Yeah.
Are there
might-
other
oh,
lake associations that we need to coordinate with?
There's just
Just Silver
the
Lake?
one I'm aware of,
Okay.
Silver Lake.
Okay.
Yeah, Lake Association.
You may wanna do the 26th,
We're looking at the
because the
calendar.
19th is Easter.
Okay.
So we can change it from the 22nd to the 26th.
Yeah.
I think that way we have more people who are able to go out and pick up even a little bit of trash at the parks. So
Yeah,
if we could change that date to the 26th.
for sure. Yeah, that's actually one of the events that I'm a little bit more hands-off on. That's more Sarah and Chris coordinate that one. Sarah is the Parks Commissioner, and then Chris as the person who's running the recycling and the garbage kind of programs. But this is really good information that we will definitely take into consideration.
Yes.
So is that a for sure? Like, we should plan on it being the Saturday?
I think, to Ingrid's point, we should double check with Silver Lake, and I can send that, whatever date we come up with,
Yep.
out to the commission.
Get a hold of
And being it's, it's early enough, if they want to coordinate their stuff with the city stuff,
Yeah, if they haven't done theirs either, yeah, we can certainly work with them.
and the high school.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
absolutely. We'll get them involved. We have a contact there.
Okay, so just to clarify, the park events that are specifically parks are Fire and Ice, Parks Cleanup, the Spring 5K, which is new, the two music in the parks, 2 musics in the park, yoga in the park, Zumba in the park, jazzercise in the park. Excited for that. Movie in the park adult, movie in the park kids, and then Holly Jolly Night.
Yes, it sounds like a lot. The music in the park, we don't typically need a commissioner there. It kind of runs by itself, and the Arts and Culture Commission will probably have their art cart there. So the music in the parks, not super needed. The one is at Silver Lake. I've seen your photos of the splash and stuff like that. So we're moving it from Casey to Silver Lake and having a steel drum band. So having a little bit of like a beach theme.
That's interesting. The very first year of the Splash, I hired a steel drum band.
Amazing. It's great minds. Yes. So basically, we'll take it as it is. The exercise in the parks, I will be there the whole time. I don't anticipate needing another commissioner, as it's an hour, and I'll be there taking photos, and it's during the day. So it looks like a lot, but don't panic. We'll take it one step at a time.
And Ava, I'll take also the movie in the park too, the one with the kids. I'll help
Awesome.
you out with that.
Yeah.
So,
Go Dave.
Would it be helpful for us to sign up now?
I can't keep it all in my head, so we will send out, I think maybe email and / Google a sheet.
Okay.
Whatever works best with you.
We
I
put
clar-
we put Star Watch to sleep for a while, if not for,
Yes.
because Mike, okay.
Yep.
Mike had mentioned he was getting too pooped out to do this, and he had mentioned to take a break, and our numbers are going down, so.
Yep, he reached out to me personally and was like, I don't think this is a good idea, which
Good.
I listen. Yep.
Can I clarify music in the park? So I see the 3 at Casey. That's like,
Oh.
I see music in the park, and then there's a 3 in parentheses. Casey Lake, 6 to 7:30 p.m. So that was kind of like our schedule before. but then I also see, are there additional musical events, other concerts happening in other parks? Is that what's happening?
Sorry, that's a bit of a working document, so if I made a mistake, yeah. So the first one is the children's program. It will be at Housie Park.
Okay,
The second one, which is the Silver Lake,
okay.
and then third one, which is the adult band in August, will be at Casey.
And Ingrid, it should be on the first page, so there's 2 pages of her
Yes,
schedule.
yes.
Should be on that front one on the bottom there.
Yeah, I see those, but, so are these just detailed, I guess what I'm saying is, are you talking about the 3 at Casey, and then in addition?
Oh,
these
so-
are- These are just,
numerical.
Yeah, the
Okay.
parentheses is for my
Oh,
own. Yeah,
got
keeping
it.
track. There's 3 music in the parks.
yes, got it.
Yep, there's going to be 3
concerts.
Yeah,
Total.
workouts in the
That's
park.
what I was
Yep,
trying to
all
clarify.
good.
Thank you.
Yep,
Do you
you're
like how
welcome.
those music in the parks, you're doing a different park for each one? I think that's fun.
Yeah,
People do the different parks.
yeah. We had a lower attendance last year, and so we're trying something new, a little bit more themed events and different parks.
Cool.
Yep. Awesome.
With that, do we already have the bands?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. First one is a children's person. She has a chinchilla and a chameleon. Second one is the steel drums at Silver Lake, and the third one is a bluegrass and 4-person band.
Nice.
It's a
Well,
tremendous
nice job.
amount of work, so
Nice
you.
job.
thank you.
And don't be afraid to come to us, once a month or reach out to us for all the other ones that aren't necessarily directed at, right at the parks.
Yeah. No, Sarah and I work close together, so you will be hearing lots from me, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Oh, and you might want to reach out to some of the religious organizations in the community, because a lot of them have to do community service or confirmation or whatever it is. So you might want to reach out to some of those, and they may have people to help you out too.
Amazing.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ava. All right. You want to practice? Go ahead.
No, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm good.
All right. Riley.
Yes, now for the fun stuff.
Yippee.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Riley Grams. I'm the Community Development Director here for the city. So what I just want to run through really quickly with you tonight is, again, just sort of a set of expectations for commissioners. We just heard, obviously, from Ava talking about participating in the planning and implementation of park and rec-related events. That is supremely important. I know we just went over it, but I wanted to reiterate that again. We have some very talented and dedicated staff members here, but we can't do it all alone. So any help, and I know you, a bunch of you are just nominating yourselves to participate. I think that's fantastic, so I really do appreciate that. Keep an eye out on your city-issued email. That's one of the best ways that we can get in touch with you. Check it, regularly, semi-regularly. Don't go 1 month and check it once. Check it routinely. Make it a habit, please. Second, obviously any parks and rec-related inquiries should be sent to Sarah, our city staff liaison. I have her contact information there in my memo. Kind of goes without saying, attend these meetings. It's really important. That's why you're here. We want you to participate, and I know you want to participate too. So very important that you attend these meetings and be included. If you know you are not going to be able to make it, let us know ahead of time. Let Sarah know. I've been doing this for 15 years, 12, 15 years now, and I'm always worried about quorums. That's like a thing for me. So as we get close to meeting dates, we want to know if we're going to have a quorum or not. So if you know you're not going to be able to attend, reach out to us. If you know 10 minutes before you're not going to be able to attend, you're sick or something, still reach out to us one way or the other. And then lastly, but probably the most important, is be respectful. Be respectful of staff members, of your fellow commissioners, and probably most importantly, the public. That's who you are and we are working for. So I just want everybody to keep that in mind. That's very, very important. I thank you all. I think it's very important that people participate in their communities. I think it's fantastic that you are all here, and so I applaud you. Not a lot of people want to do this. You're here, and I appreciate you all, so. Any questions for me?
My question to you is, are you the one who writes grants for any of the stuff that we're trying to improve or change? So,
Our department does that.
Okay.
It's, yeah, all of us would, you know, it's depending on what it is exactly. I might tap Sarah, or I might tap Chris, or Jordan, it kind of goes back and forth.
He would, correct me if I'm wrong, we could write it, but you would be the final
Yes,
say.
right.
yep.
So, one of the parks I have is Southwood, and I have not met, I've been back on this commission now for 1 year, and I have not yet met with the task force from Southwood. I've talked to Daryl Myers, who's now the head of the task force, but Daryl's the only one that I know that's on there. So with that, I can see, because I live on Southwood, there's certain things that I see that could be developed in that nature preserve, but I know Public Works can't do everything. So one of the thoughts I have is, especially with some of the down trees that we've had through the storms from last year, and we have several trees down, is it possible to maybe write a grant, try to get something through Ramsey County or something where they could send in, you know, skilled, qualified people to help with the down trees? I know the city's also busy with the ash borer removal, and they still have quite a few in Southwood. And being I haven't met with the task force, I kind of know what's going on there. Years ago, both Lloyd and I were one of the founders of the task force back in the day, so we kind of know what's going on with the park, even though we haven't met with the task force. So my question is, do we have to make a proposal to you or something to say, hey, can we get some grant money for help with, like, with the buckthorn and maybe the knotweed and a few other invasive plants? Right now, I know we do have a few people in the city that are older than I am, believe it or not, that are still volunteering a lot of their time with, like, the mustard seed and all that stuff. So I'm just wondering if do I have to propose something to you directly so you can have a staff member write a grant, or how do you see that happening?
Yeah, feel free to reach out to us at any point. If you are aware of a specific grant that you think would work, send it to us, and then we can research it as a staff and, determine if it's something that, one, we're qualified to even receive. A lot of, grants can be very, very tricky.
I know
They're
they are.
very
That's why
specific. There's a lot of them come with some strings attached. So, but that is our job to kind of suss through that stuff and figure out whether or not this would even be possible. But if you're aware of specific grants, or, like, hey, I wonder if there's a grant for ABC,
Right.
send it out to us. We'll use our contacts to ask around and see if there's anything available that might fit in that area.
Right. I just know one of the citizens was a little concerned and talked to me a little bit, especially being the fires that have happened out in California. They're a little concerned, and I kind of reached out. Like I said, the task, I've been back on the commission now for a year, and I have not been invited to any of the task force. And when I had mentioned it to Brian, he wasn't even sure if that was a liable source anymore. So without knowing what the city's feels about the task force, or do they want to be left up to just the park commission, I'd like to know that going forward. So if it's something, being that is one of my parks, and it's also one of Lloyd's, the two of us could kind of go through and say, hey, maybe we can try to get something going to help out.
Absolutely.
Because when it was first started, it was also set up for a lot of the master naturalists to get their certification and stuff. They all had capstone projects.
Sure.
And as far as I know now, there's no master naturalist looking for a capstone. Do you?
No. No, I have not heard of anything.
So if we had more insight from what the city would like to see from us, we can move forward, because then I'm sure Lloyd and I together, being that's also one of our parks that we share, we could walk through the park once a week or once a month and try to come up with some ideas, but we want to know where we need to go forward, if it's something we can just write grants for, or we just kind of wait for Public Works to get freed up. But if there's a way we can get a grant to help with some of the, relieve some of the problems that Public Works has, I think we should move forward with that.
It would help to figure out or find out what's the status of the task force.
So,
Because if the task force is really not surviving or sinking, then maybe we need to
reassess the whole thing.
reassess it and incorporate it into the park commission again.
And we have, Riley and I and Brian, the city manager, and Ron from Public Works have a meeting tomorrow anyway.
Yep.
So we can bring that up quickly and see where everybody's at, and I can report back as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's, the only other thing, because you asked for our feedback, is to kind of let us know where you're thinking going forward with some of the projects, being you're also new to the city. What kind of things you kind of expect from us, other than we behave ourselves.
Well, I expect you to do that.
But yeah, so if you have anything in mind, because a lot of us sitting here have great rapport with our neighbors and stuff, and that's why it's nice, we're from all over the city. So we kind of get a general feel for what's out there, so. So at any time you can give us some feedback on where you're at or where you see us going, it would be appreciated.
Absolutely.
I know back in December or November, we had talked to Ron, and they were thinking that about the ash, because I brought it up about the ash trees and the down trees, and I think he mentioned he was gonna do it in the winter, and that's usually, ideally, when they usually do it in the winter.
He's doing a bunch now, or they
Yeah,
are
yeah.
doing a bunch now.
In Southwood?
When there's no snow, they have a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
of time,
yeah.
like, a little extra time on their hands during the winter to do that, so.
Great.
Also, just for clarification, I don't think we properly introduced ourselves to Rachel. Well, did you meet Rachel? Okay. So I'm a community development administrative assistant. There's 3 of us in community development. We each have commissions that we're on. So I'm the staff liaison to this commission. Riley's actually my boss as the community development director. So a lot of things that you guys will recommend, I end up filtering to him, and he makes the final decision. So just to be clear on the layers as well.
Thank you.
Cassidy, you want to introduce yourself too?
Yeah, hi Rachel, I'm Cassidy Schweer, and I am the council member that sits on the commission and supports you guys as well.
Gotcha. Hello. Thank you.
Anything else for Riley?
No? I don't.
Okay. Trig? Oh, I did it.
You got it the last,
You know how I remembered it?
how?
Math.
Math, trig.
Geometry.
Yeah, well, when you're this age, you figure things out.
You assign, cosine, tangent?
Oh, can you kind of give us a little summary of you for Rachel? Trig? Thank you.
What a perfect, prelude, talking about opportunities to improve the parks. My name is, most of you have probably heard this before, and I'm gonna try and go quicker than I think I was intended.
Talking to the microphone.
Sorry. Because you've had a full agenda so far, and I'm sure you don't want to stay here all night. My name is Trig Hansen. I'm a landscape architect. I work with HGA Architects and Engineering in Minneapolis. HGA was hired through a competitive RFP response process. I guess this is mostly for Rachel, but a good summary since it's the new year and stuff. The dialogue started, the response that we gave was almost a year ago to a request for proposals for conceptual design and planning on 3 North St. Paul parks. You probably saw it in the preview of the document in the preview package, but maybe you didn't if this is your first meeting, if you were included. Anyhow, we have gone through a process that eventually the contract, our HGA's contract was initiated in August last year after Riley came on board and some different things were figured out. And we worked through the fall to have community engagement and come up with conceptual design for 3 parks projects. So I'll get into it a little bit more here, but this is the last draft before the final of the concept design and planning report that will conclude our work with the city. I can't thank you enough on how exciting and informative and engaged and energetic this process was. It turned into nothing like I was expecting. We learned the project was fluid, went along the way. I think we all learned that, our different opportunities that the city and the parks have to grow and be informed by this process. So I'll admit, where we ended up seemed different than a lot of concept design processes that I've been involved with different municipalities. But each municipality is unique and has their strengths, their opportunities, their weaknesses, places to grow. So hopefully what we're leaving you with is a document to guide you for fundraising initiative energy for these and other parks within the system. How the document is set up, and this was a failure on the first draft that I sent out, was that it's actually supposed to be like a book, so it's 8.5 by 11 spreads on a landscape. So moving forward, the PDF that we will provide you will look more like this, where most of the world reads things digitally now. So it'll read as a full spread. So there might have been some confusion on the layouts if you were going in a continuous page. We have updated a bit from what you have, the contents to highlight each of the 3 parks as well in more clarity. So 4 sections of the document. 1 is a brief project overview from the draft that you had to this one that I'm showing right now, which is like the second or the last one. We've included some more to provide better context so that if this document is used outside the confines of this conversation or people who were familiar with the project, it's better understood as we were kind of more reviewing that. Another is that, we introduce and reference briefly the master plan or the Parks and Open Space master plan that should go in support of this document of work that has recently been done and was being completed as this project went through. The next section is about the engagement approach. Our understanding and feeling is that our firm, HGA, and my colleagues, Noah and Kent, who were primary to this, is HGA was engaged and selected to do this work because of commitment that we have to engagement and equity. And Noah is a specialist in our equity engagement group. And he guided this engagement process where we worked with you to identify the groups, the stakeholders that we wanted to talk to within the community, as well as stakeholders within the city, staff, and adjacent collaborators and partners like the school district, to a very, within the confines of the time we had and the opportunities, rigorous of meetings at the Art Fest, some open houses, and other conversations. It also involved the creation of some community liaisons that joined the PRC task force members to provide valuable insight. So there's several pages that document the process that we did to select the engagement routine and process, the outcomes, observations, and iterations that went in within and informed the engagement process. You'll see diagrams, you'll see photos of the boards and the stickers and the voting that we did and the results. Also want to mention that all of the meeting minutes and notes and packets and content from each one of our meetings have been provided to the city, and those would be also an appendix to any of this. It would get into more detail on some of the conversations and content that are included in the document. So from there, section 3 is the design concepts, walks through each of the 3 sites. First one being the downtown open space, and gives kind of context and analysis. Starts to talk about a few of these diagrams and imagery are unique to this document, that where we summarize some of the design conversations and clarified and made them a little prettier, we'll say, for a finished product, on like overlaying the program and design concepts in the way that things were resulted. One of the graphic things from, I guess, the last meeting we had is we did integrate the pops of color on the swings, which are a really popular design feature. We've proposed that there's something like orange that would be a nice contrast to the city blue. That could go any direction. Again, this is a really high-level concept and program. Second site is the Third Street open space. And this one, the final concept was the nature play combined with potentially a community garden aspect. We lay out and discuss in narrative and graphic form the site analysis that went into this. And I guess you'll notice, each project has an individual site plan and key. So if we wanted to break out any individual documents for citizens to look at and reference, they could be these individual pages. We also intend this that the size of the file you could post on the website for the public to download and view as well. Each site includes conceptual graphic renderings of the spaces that we planned and modeled. And so now into the third site, which is the McKnight, kind of big contrast to those 2 smaller undeveloped parks right now, which the third being McKnight Athletic Complex, which is a park that is in need, had been identified not only by this project, by stakeholder interaction, is in need of repair and repurposing and reprogramming. It has a history of being beloved for the softball and baseball programs that are offered there. But through the process, we identified that there's so much more that this park property can offer. And so after engagement, design, analysis, the final concept plan, a phase 1 and phase 2 approach, kind of like a smaller site implementation or a larger, both resulted in adapting some of the program space into flexible fields and other amenity support programs like playground and other potential opportunities like a skate park, which are all things that the community asks for. And through a design iteration and options conversations with the liaisons and the engagement process are the pieces of program that were selected to move forward in the final design concepts. I'd keep going ad nauseum if I got into all excited about explaining each one of the different design renderings. Phase 2 really thinks about how this could even be a larger athletic flexibility to the programs that are offered now, and in collaboration with the school district potentially to really capitalize on the space that is the softball fields now and make those sport available for more than just, including softball and baseball, but more than just those, through creating a flexible framework. Phase 2 also talks about the opportunity to integrate a building or support facility similar to what's going on at Casey Lake, which seemed to be a great setup for the Arts Fest and the music stuff when we were at engagement events and interacted. So we did the open house there the traffic in and out, it was just a nice hub for a park space. And there was a lot of discussion and seeing an opportunity for that type of thing to support the athletic complex. Kind of within the, a little bit unique to the way that we laid out McKnight is that we broke into a little bit more explanation of the impacts and the program elements, the primary program, and then some of the design element features. The final piece is the consideration of cost, and these are broad, and this is noted in that this is the broad loaded cost estimates that we included as fully delivered projects through a construction management type of approach. Again, or not again, because like Rachel wasn't involved in this, the process, this design didn't include making decisions that were cost-based at this time. It was, the approach that was taken was creating concept designs that reacted and responded to the needs and the desires of the city and the residents, and saying as I was researching the language, in an aggressive manner, the costs of them, so that moving forward, it would be easier to make decisions on how to find the right budget for the project. That's something that's approachable. We've also identified the conversation how there's a plethora of public and private partnerships that could happen at a space like this. There's a dearth of in the city and identified for publicly accessible through the city or other public means soccer fields. And that's where some of the flexibility overlaps that we talk about on a flexible field of incorporating both the softball, baseball, and potentially soccer and other field-type sports. I will say, I'm going to zoom in and here. Within this last section, which is kind of called cost estimate and implementation, there's some, I'll say, a series of bullets that we kind of outline, and these were part of the conversations throughout, especially as we more led to the end of the design project, of the initiatives and steps that the city and its stakeholders and partners will need to start building to make any of these possible. One of the, there was, as the project is not funded, any of these in totality, there is funding through the capital improvement plan for some repairs at McKnight, but for to do the park in totality, it would take a larger financial consideration, and so that's outlined at a high conceptual level in this document. So, and that's the conclusion of the document. So, again, from HGA's standpoint, me representing my colleagues and others that have worked on it, it's been a fantastic project to be engaged with and work with. I've said this to, again, this was my introduction to the team and the project, is that I've lived in St. Paul pretty much my entire life. My wife's from the east side, either east side of St. Paul, or now her family's on Oakdale, and I've driven 36,000, maybe not thousands, I don't know, hundreds of times, and I know of North St. Paul for the downtown and the car show and the snowman, but I was never engaged in the community before, and it was great and wonderful to get to know that. Now it feels like a part of my home and my community that I'm involved with, and if I never have a working relationship again, I'll always have that with the city, so I really greatly appreciate that and the interactions we've had, so.
Any questions?
And yeah, any questions or discussion?
I noticed, maybe you could clarify.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything where I kind of asked for before was a comparison between the artificial turf and regular turf. I didn't see any comparison.
I'll note that. That is something we can pull that out. I think we had it in the probably in the appendix during the meeting content, but I'll pull that out into this document. That makes sense. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just one of those things going on, because artificial turf is great, but, it's got a real short lifespan, and it's something that's gonna have to be redone every few years. So as we try to move forward budgeting anything, we'll need to know kind of where that is, which will have to be brought up in front of us all the time. 'Cause we don't want something that's gonna, say, 6 years from now, fall in disrepair like we have now at McKnight Fields. So, and I just know from working with the school district for 25 years that, our fields were not except for the one at Norris High here, and Tartan's just put some in. But there's been a lot of problems with the artificial turf, where like with John Glenn and what used to be Maplewood Middle, we used to have fields that were just regular turf and held up just as well. So it's kind of like,
It's
be able
a
to-
great point. That was an oversight on our part to include that content in this document.
that was my only thought, so.
Anybody else?
I just want to say thank you for all of the work and the intentionality that you put into this. Being a commissioner that was a part of this, it was very clear that the whole time your goal was to create a plan that would ultimately serve the community to the best of its ability, and your entire team brought that energy. And I'm very happy that we chose you, and I'm really appreciative of all of the work that you put into this.
Thank you.
And ultimately, the really great, creative, well-thought-out plan that you delivered.
Thank you.
Well done.
Yeah, I appreciated working with your team, like when we had a couple of the open houses and stuff. Your team is spot on, so.
Well, hopefully we cross paths again, and I really sincerely hope that, and we're here, we're a support, a recommend, or a resource for moving these things forward. The conversations we had so many different ways. It's gonna happen, you're gonna band together, we're gonna figure it out, I think it's obviously probably a combination of grants and other conversations within the city and things like that, so.
I have a question.
Yes.
So the memo says we're supposed to review this and then we're talking about it in the next meeting? Is that?
Yes, so if
Correct?
you review
Okay.
it for today's meeting and there was any questions or
You can
concerns,
still,
still let me know. We can get that
yeah,
information.
so
to
as
Trig.
you don't have a final copy yet. You'll-
Yeah.
Yes.
That'll be next
yeah.
meeting.
It'll be next month.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
yes, you'll have,
do we
in the
have to
next
vote
month's
on
meeting,
that? Like approving it?
the final one will be in your,
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes, and we'll vote on approving that.
yes,
as
and,
well,
it- and,
next meeting.
and I'll say, I was considering this kind of my final unless you drag me back. But the content wouldn't be substantially changed or approached. Some finite things, so,
Okay.
Anybody else? Thanks, Trig.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Reports from staff. Cassidy? Anything?
Nothing right now. We had a 7-minute council meeting yesterday, so, right, we'll talk next meeting.
Riley, you got anything else? I'm good. Sarah?
Just a couple quick things. So Trig mentioned the Park and Open Space Master Plan. I have that almost completely updated. We're waiting on the final version from HGA of their document to add that to our master plan, or at least portions of it. So once that's completed, I'll complete the Park and Open Space Master Plan. We'll review it, send it back to council, and so we're still looking at least probably another month or so out from having that finally approved, but we're almost there. So, and then just wanted to note about the 3 hockey rinks that are open. If you're not on social media and you didn't see Riley skating in the promo video for our parks, you should follow us because it's great. And Ava does all the recording and stuff of that. Her dancing in the snowman outfit was amazing, so you guys
So
should check
good.
that out too.
So good.
That was Ava, so it was great. So the 3 hockey rinks, there is a little bit of a change. The lights are now on from 4:30 till 10, not till 9. We had some complaints about that, so we extended the hours.
Casey?
there's Casey, Northwood, and Colby Hills.
All three of those have lights?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, they wanted them on till 10.
Yep.
Oh.
Yes. So there we are. And then I wanted to note that since Commissioner Sue Springborn is no longer here, she was a liaison to 2 parks for us, Tower Park and Northwood. So I was going to propose that Rachel takes those. What that means is we ask that if you're assigned to a park, maybe once a month you go out, at least once a month, take a look, see if there's anything you notice that needs work or is great, even if you have great feedback. And you can bring it back to the following meeting to let us know if you have recommendations or just anything of note, of interest.
Okay.
So she had Tower Park, which is the big one with the water tower on the north side of town.
Not to be confused with Northwood, that also has a giant water tower.
And then there's Northwood, so you have the 2 water tower parks.
Tower and Northwood?
Yes,
How many do we have with
Where do you
Northwood?
live?
I'm by Casey.
she's the only one.
You live by
I'll do the
Casey.
other.
I thought I was on Northwood.
I thought you were too.
I'm pretty
I
sure
didn't
I'm
have
on
that.
Northwood with you. Yeah.
Well, what, sure,
We have a list somewhere.
yes, which I didn't see your name at Northwood.
Yeah, we'll bring
Well,
it.
Rachel, I think,
Okay.
you want it?
Sure.
Got it.
Perfect.
There's 2. You taking them both?
Yeah.
Rolling.
Perfect. So, and if you don't have any updates, that's totally cool too. So just throwing that out there. So that was my only things for today.
But if you like see graffiti or something on any of the park equipment, you can bring that here, or you can just send a picture to Sarah and it can get handled. That's one of the biggest things that you'll
Thanks, Trig.
encounter.
Well, and it's also feedback from residents around the park that, like, if you happen to be talking to somebody and they say, I have a complaint about X, Y, one of your, you're sort of the person that can bring their concerns to us.
Okay.
So it's more than just physical stuff in the parks. It can also be issues like, I don't know.
Well, you may have an issue, somebody will say, somebody's not picking up after their dog or
Yeah.
something like that.
that.
Those we can bring to Sarah, she'll get it to Public Works or Code Enforcement or something like that. Some of those things, you can address certain residents if you know them.
Okay.
That say, maybe you want to pick up after your dog, but you don't have to confront them.
Okay.
You want to stay away from any conflicts.
No.
Depends on what parks you kind of have. You'll have some residents will never talk to you. You just, hi, how's it going? And you got some that will tell you all their problems, regardless if it's the park or not.
Yeah.
So, but that you're just kind of the liaisons and say, well, I can pass that forward for you.
Has anyone ever done like a scheduled and like announced like, I'm the liaison for this park and I'm gonna be here on this day of this month. Come chat with
We
me.
used
Has
to,
anyone-
we used to have meetings out there, but
We would-
that's not a bad idea.
We haven't done that,
Okay.
where it's like a representative will be in the park, and if but what Lloyd was saying is, we have had, can we do this anymore? No, we
No,
can't,
it-
because
it
of
was-
filming and stuff. But we used to have meetings in the summer out in the parks, and we would kind of
would go to
invite,
each park.
people to
that's
come.
lovely.
I know,
It was
it's
lovely. We miss
lovely,
it.
but,
We miss it.
Yep.
yeah, we miss.
Can we take our
miss-
camera to go?
I know, it seems like we could figure
I
that
would,
out.
I would coordinate that with, if you're gonna think,
We actually can have meetings in the park.
we can now?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Hallelujah.
Oh.
We can record it and not video it, but we can record it and have notes on it. So
Oh.
we can still host our meetings in the park.
Wonderful.
Well,
That
Do we
was
wanna,
a nice.
do we wanna
Madam Chair.
agendize that?
We will
Next month?
explore that because I don't know what tools we have currently to do that.
Okay.
But we will look.
Let's explore
Let's
that.
put that on the agenda for next week to discuss that for next month.
Next week, I'm not gonna
gonna
be here
look
next week.
All right, all right.
Hold on, but if that is something that you want to do as the liaison of the park, I think you can, if you want to like formally, like use city channels and whatever.
Okay.
You would check in with Sarah and
Yeah,
then,
we would get approvals and
Yeah.
stuff like that, but
yeah, so if that's something you want to do, just connect with Sarah.
absolutely,
I'll think about that.
yeah.
All right. Let's go to reports. Ben, anything?
Yes, so the new lighting on the northwest path at KC looks great, so thanks to Public Works. I did just want to check in if there's an update. I think there's 2 or 3 that are, like, the bases are in, but they've just had traffic cones on top of them for at least a couple months. And I know we've had holidays and stuff, but,
Sure, yeah, I don't have an update, but I will get one and report back to you.
okay.
Yeah.
The lights are, kind of an update. The lights are fairly expensive.
Okay.
And that they were trying to find the same light. So the ones that are currently out there that were placed and the ones that the bases are, they were trying to see if they had something similar. And ultimately, if we have to get the same light that's more expensive, we'll get it. But that's the reasoning behind it. It's still in the works.
Sure.
So
Thanks. They look really good, so,
I understand that as well.
yeah.
Laura?
I have a question. So I know that we have new council members, and that sometimes means reshuffling of liaison responsibilities. Are you still our liaison?
We're not going anywhere.
Okay.
Troy Woods is with Arts and Culture.
Okay.
And Dave McKenzie is with EDA.
Perfect. Perfect.
You get me for another 2 years.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited. I just wanted to make sure that that didn't get missed. The second thing was the district community ed office is in conversations with the city to bring Polar Explorers back, which is that pop-up park program that we did prior to COVID. What it looks like is for 5 Wednesdays during the day, Community Ed and Ava will partner and host a free pop-up activity in 5 different parks throughout the city from like 10 to 12 during the summer to give the community an opportunity to come together, but also to explore new parks. We're proposing a partnership. There's 2 in June, 2 in July, and 1 in August. The first one is escaping me right now. We're partnering on the steel drum band music in the park. And we're gonna do a sand castle building contest, and that'll be in the evening. The second one in June is us. We're gonna try and break 2 Guinness World Records at Northwood Park.
One's not enough.
The first one is the longest consecutive leapfrog between 2 people. And then the other one is the fastest assembly of a Mr. Potato Head. We already have our applications in. We are approved to attempt these records.
Oh my God.
Sarah, you don't have that like randomly just pulled up somewhere, do you? Sorry, sorry. I want to share the other 2 with you. Okay, hold on, I have it. Sorry, I should have been prepared. The first one is tie-dye in the park at Housie Park. The one in July, or the third one, is actually going to be a foam party in Housie Park, and the fire truck sprinkler is going to come by. Sand castles is the next one, and then we're going to do this thing. It's called a slow roll. It's a thing in Detroit where people just meet up on their bikes and they just like take a slow bike ride just to like throughout the city and to hang out. But we're going to do that on the Gateway. So we're going to start at Rotary. We're going to do the Gateway and just do like a little thing. So the city and the district are figuring out what the contract needs to look like. And once that's figured out, then it's something that we're going to be able to move forward with.
Cool.
David?
Only thing, I mean, McKnight Fields, we're always in the middle of that. Southwood, only thing to report is the Eagle Scout had completed changing out the bat houses. He did have an incident where there still was a resident in one of them, so that turned out, I guess, pretty interesting. But the bat houses for that Eagle Scout has been completed, so.
Thank you. Ingrid?
Nothing for Silver Lake or
Rachel?
Dorothy.
Rachel, anything?
I
Any
got no
questions you
report on
have?
Tower or Northwood.
Any questions about tonight?
I don't think so. I think I've learned, and I'll learn as I keep going.
Yeah, you'll learn as you go. Yep. And I got nothing, so
Well, I'd like to thank you for being chair
Can we
for all these
Thank
years.
you. My pleasure.
I think it's been good leadership.
Thank you. Been a pleasure.
So, and hopefully
Been fun.
moving forward, things go just as smoothly.
Yes,
So,
I'm looking
thank you
forward.
once again for your service.
Where's my new seat? Must be over there. I'll sit by Ben. You and me, buddy.
Yep.
All right.
I make a motion to
Oh,
adjourn.
hold on. This is my tradition. Okay, because I usually traditionally,
Oh, okay.
if you don't mind.
I don't
Would you
care.
like to make a motion, Rachel?
Oh, okay.
There,
My first motion.
Yep.
Yes.
to adjourn.
To adjourn.
I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
I
Dave,
second it.
Dave will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Wow, my first motion.
Well done, everybody. Thanks.